You're entirely wrong.
Yeah, the
I'm
show
not.
is 25 to 35.
No, it's not.
Eagles.
Also, you're not the guy who decides.
25 to
At
35.
all.
Again,
I-
it doesn't matter.
So you're an entire room of people are wrong and you're
Cool.
right by yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Always.
Hi
Simon
everyone,
Dashley.
behind the scenes production here.
Hi.
Simon Dashley going Simon Dashley on everyone. Simon
Yes.
Dashley to my left, Peeze to my far left, Eagle in the nest, GM in the producer's chair. Div 1, Div 2 now. This is going to be a 25 to 35 minute show here, people.
Cool.
Let everybody know.
Maybe 22 minutes.
Maybe 22 minutes if we have no commercials, right? Okay, here we
Oh,
go.
We'll see. We'll see at the end of the show.
All right, let's match words, please, Simone.
It's over already. Awesome. We can go home.
We go home now. All right, gentlemen, what do we see in Div 1, Div 2?
Top Guns beat Maniacs. I predicted it. It happened. Top Guns will make the playoffs. Maniacs will not. After a 2-0 start, they won't make the playoffs.
Yeah. That's it's not surprising that Maniacs won't make playoffs, but it's honestly Paul LaPierre what he's been able to do with perhaps the worst roster.
But who's going to be eligible from that roster? That's the question.
We'll see.
I mean,
It won't matter because they'll play the finest. So
But he's had, you know what, since the Braves game that they had.
Top Guns will make the playoffs as the 8th seed and play finest week 1.
Yeah, but since the Braves game, he's thrown the ball much better. Like he had a 330-yard game against Braves, and he's been much more efficient.
Paul
since
has
then.
been good all season.
yeah.
It's just
and again, given the team.
But are
He's
you
playing with guys that can't win any sort of matchup across the board. He has to
What-
make trick plays
He-
all the time.
And that's it. Like what he's done schematically is awesome.
But what's been the issue with Paul? Because Paul LaPierre is a known name in flag in the touch leagues, so he has a wealth of resources
There's
to bring
no
in.
Did you
more.
say a known name or a no name?
No, a known name.
Canone.
A known.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Known.
but like he's known
Sounds
in
like
the
me.
community, right?
Yeah.
And he has a wealth of resources to bring in players from the outdoors.
There's
Who's
no
left?
more guys.
But the thing is, though, why has his team regressed?
Who's left?
But that's what I'm saying, though. He's now gone to Division 3, 4B, 5B players, right?
Okay.
But
Tell
even
me.
that, like, there's better players in Division 3 that are out there.
Yes.
But
Well,
what-
we see it with
players-
Fly Morsac, who brought in 2 guys from Div 5, and they're
We saw it
both-
with Montreal's Finest bringing a guy from Division 6.
there you go.
You know what I mean?
Same
Like-
thing.
Like the thing is that
Playing Div 5 doesn't mean you're bad.
knowing the community is fine, but like if guys stop playing after a certain point, right? So like every year we lose 1 or 2 guys who used to play FPF, and you don't know who's up and coming, right? Then how are you going to fill a roster when Montreal's Finest gets filled, D-Boys gets filled, Braves come in with their roster, and they're grabbing a piece here or there from
Yeah.
from FPF ranks. So like, who's left?
But they're
Got
also
skills moving up to Div 1, you know, like
they're also the point where, like, if you're looking at it, guys who were good in 2011, 2012, that was 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the guy can still be a dominant Div 1 player.
or still wants to play FPF at that level.
also, well, yes,
'Cause
also.
we see there's attrition. Like, let's say, how many Div 1 players do you think we lose every season?
Or how many Div 1 players could still play after 5 years?
Yeah. Like,
They-
but let's say like lose either way.
Well,
Yeah.
it's an anomaly, though, because the Finals have been going at it since 2006.
Yeah, but they keep adding pieces though. Anna
Here
Bailey
and
wasn't there. You
Bailey's
know?
a younger player, though. They were getting old.
Yeah, but they did the smart thing, and they've been adding players.
Yeah.
And like I said, okay, so it was Michael Harrington knew, and man, I can't remember his name, but the dude they brought,
Dansereau
Dansereau
Antoine
there.
Dansereau.
in
The-
spring of 2017.
He knew
yes.
from tackle, but essentially, how many teams would have legitimately taken a chance in Div 1 on a guy who plays Division 6?
Finals could, because they can afford the luxury of doing so.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so because of that, they dig up the talent, and we're seeing that. Let's say even the guys from Got Skills, most of them were perennial Div 3 players,
But if you have,
but they were some of the better Div 3 players.
if you have a strong core, let's say D-Boys, right?
Mhm.
Let's say you already have 8 or 9 guys.
Yeah.
You could technically afford to pick up a 10 player that could end up being good or not.
Yeah.
You try him out for a game or 2, doesn't pan out. He's not on the
But
team
we
anymore.
spoke about the D-Boys, though, and I think you weren't there for that. It was a Monday night they played Monstars, but they beat the Rainmakers. But the point I bring it up here, D-Boys haven't found the true replacement for Jordan McLaren. I don't care what anyone says. They have not found
Okay.
it's a gaping hole in their defense.
I agree. But
They've
the
not
point
been
is
able to seal it up.
they're taking a chance on a few guys.
But is Quade Johnson
But the point is they're trying to figure it out. They're adding pieces and they're testing guys out so that the franchise stays. If instead of replacing Jordan McLaren because let's say they lost him, they don't pick up anybody else. They just try to fill the hole with who they have, and then they lose another guy. That's how a franchise go to die. If you don't pick up new talent, you cannot keep growing the way finance does. Look at Rainmakers. They don't pick up new players, and their guys are getting
Well,
old. They don't want to play
Jacques
anymore.
Void. They picked up Jacques Void. They picked up those. They wanted Vince Alessandrini, who didn't. I think he played one game for Waste U, but couldn't play Div 1. They had guys lined up, but
Yeah,
the guys
but
failed on
Alessandrini,
them.
I think he got hurt. And
Yeah, that's it, right? I mean, maybe that could have been a difference. They could have been the 3-1 team as opposed to being 0-9.
yeah, but it didn't work out, and they're not looking to reach out to like these Div 4 players who wants to try it out in Div 1.
Speaking of Rainmakers, they go 0-9, officially out of the playoffs.
Mhm.
They lose a tough one to Monsters, which they had pretty much the lead in hand. And lo and behold, Jordan McLaren making a huge grab with 2 plays left to win the game. A bit of controversy with the refereeing was Rod Mashtub hit on the quarterback, roughing the quarterback call, which wasn't enforced. Pick 6 happens. Rainmakers go 0-9. What's the next move for them after this year, gentlemen?
They need to add a piece, or they need to go Div 2.
I think the right move from that one game that Ryan Kastner played with Norgard in Division 2, he looked like he was having a lot of fun. It was fun. It was laid back. I think what he needs to do is go back down to Division 2, have a good season, then maybe come back up.
With this roster, though.
So, but like, let's say you take Ryan Kastner and you put him on a better team,
In which one? Div 1 or Div 2?
Div 1.
Okay.
So-
Is he competitive?
I think so.
I don't think so.
But what's his biggest knock, though, Ryan Castro? He
I
takes a
mean-
lot of sacks, right? Offense is a little bit
He
predictable.
also makes mistakes. He forces throws
Yeah.
when the game's on the
a
line.
little bit unpredictable, his offense, though. People know how he is on offense.
Do it the other way around. Take Paul Lepiaya and put him Rainmakers instead of Top Guns. Are they better?
I think they are
I'm
more
not-
diversified.
See,
with,
marginally, yes.
they're
Seeing
more
what Paul Lepiaya
diversified.
is doing with his current
Yeah,
roster.
but I still think the gap between, let's say, Rainmakers, Top Guns, Maniacs, and then everyone else is pretty wide.
Jim,
Yes,
what do you think
yes.
right now with that? If you took Paulie Pierre, put him on the Rainmakers roster, take Ryan Castro, put him on a different Div 1 roster, what happens?
Paul Pierre does better than Ryan Kastner.
Yes,
I think Ryan could be the best Division 2 quarterback.
I also agree
In
with that.
FPF.
Yes.
And from what I've seen in this one Division 2 game that he played this season, he was phenomenal.
He leads the league in Div 1 in passing yards right now.
Because
going
he
into
has
week 9.
one more game than
Yeah, one
everybody
game,
else.
exactly.
So then if the Rainmakers moves to Div 2, all those players liberate themselves for Div 1. So who goes where then?
You go to Top Guns,
The amalgamated Top Guns.
and,
No,
and they win one more game.
I think what's gonna happen is Rainmakers franchise might just pull the plug and say, listen, it's done. Ryan Kastner's gonna become what we call like a free agent. He's gonna find a team in Division 2 to play for.
And he'll be a hot commodity name.
Yeah, for sure.
He
Or in
would.
Div A, maybe. And then somebody picks him up as a quarterback, build a team around him, or whatever, or they need a quarterback. And let's say no regard, instead of having a quarterback picker, they had Ryan Kastner. Then Ryan, instead of putting Rainmakers in, he says, listen, I just want to play one team. That's enough for me. And Rainmakers kind of take a year off. Maybe in a year, he says, maybe we want to go back, Division 2 instead of 1, just to have fun again.
Mhm.
Maybe that's what happens.
Speaking
I think
of
they
fun,
need a year off.
no regard, or hashtag NR against You Can't Sit With Us. You can't sit with us with a big win because they are now at 9 games, 31-24 over hashtag NR. This was a good game because both teams were evenly matched, albeit no Vince Nardone for You Can't Sit With Us. But I just thought that both Liam Mahoney and Corey Packer had a good chess matchup. The yards may not be up there for both quarterbacks, but they made some clutch throws. And I thought Liam Mahoney really controlled the clock in favor of You Can't Sit With Us. And to the jokes of how we make fun of Terry Tam, he was a key part of the offense, move the ball, because he converted a couple third downs
He
to
is.
give them
Well, but that's
life.
the thing is the most important thing a sniper can do is help move the chains, right? And a lot of times it's not your first read, and it's finding space in the defensive concept, and that's what Terry excels at.
The most important part of a snapper, as my opinion, is if it's 2nd and 7, for instance, instead of trying to get that first down, you give it to your snapper and make it a 3rd and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then your
You have
offense
two
opens
downs
up.
to get 2 yards.
Your offense opens up on the next play, and the defense kind of doesn't know really what to cover, and then you could just go with your snapper again to get that first down. Whereas if you just ignore your snapper completely and you get 3rd and 7, then it's way more restricting.
Are you more worried about hashtag NR now? Their last 2 games, I believe, is Clockwork, and they face in week 9 or week 10 that is coming up. They'll have WPO and Clockwork. They've lost the last 2 games.
They have WPO this week.
Yes, by a combined score of 10 total points. They lost by 3 to Waste U without Troy Trench, and lost by 7 to
And no Serge Pilon Jr.
no Serge Pilon Jr. as well.
Doesn't someone owe Peeze money for this?
Not me.
This one?
No,
Yeah.
it was Waste Suit going.
Oh, it was Waste
It
Dude.
is.
Oh,
It-
it's not hashtag
No, it's Mokan that said that Norgard was trash and they wouldn't make it.
No, I said that their last 4 games of the year was very tough, and that they could be very well be 7-3.
Okay, so I still think that they're the best team in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Waste Suit has been playing really well,
They're peaking at the right time.
So I think so remember that podcast when Mo was in here and we had that write in from Jared Taylor that said we're going 8-2
Mhm.
and then he says I'll put $50 on it and everybody
Yeah.
just jumped on the
That's
fact that
the
hey,
bet we're talking about.
so yes.
He actually didn't say it into. He said we're not losing again. So that's to the finals, by the way.
No, I
so
think
is
no,
Jared
he said
Taylor
look it up.
taking?
oh
He-
that
he
should be
said
interesting.
We're not losing again.
That should be interesting.
That's
'Cause I
why
have
I
one
took the
question
bet.
for
Okay.
Jared Taylor.
So-
Is he using the money from his scholarship from Concordia to give us the $50, or is he going to take it out of his pocket?
Maybe he has his side job.
Is he allowed like with all the
Would that be a violation?
with the violations coming in the NCAA?
yeah.
If it's similar,
We'll give you a Sportira hoodie. yeah.
So I think Waste Youth at the moment is the strongest
So,
team in Div 2.
I think it's
I like
1A,
NR.
1A, 1B. I don't think it's a big gap anyway, so it doesn't really matter. What's amazing is Corey Pecker gets the most. So, like a conversation we had last week, like Dan Lazara has all the talent in the world.
Okay.
Corey Pecker does not as a quarterback, but he maximizes every ounce of ability he
we had
has,
that discussion
and
before.
his play calling is excellent, and he uses his pieces very well.
That's the
And
athlete.
I think
in
the
him.
pieces here are as good as Waste Youth, or like I said, if one's better than the other, it's not. It's negligible.
Mm-hmm.
Splitting hairs. So what's your point?
That was my point.
Okay, sorry.
Literally was my point. I
So
answered your question.
here we go. Your top 5 quarterbacks in Division 2. Simon Dagenet's top 5 quarterbacks, because we're going off the Lazara-Pecker debate last week, which Dan Lazara was not really too fond of your comments. about-
So Dan on the sidelines comes up to
Tacos
me. He's
and
like, "Yeah, elite Corey. Come on, have you seen him this week?" I said, "I remember
Again,
Dan Lazara week
just-
1 or 2
just
where you had
throwing
like
his
one
sources
touchdown."
under the bus.
Yeah, you just threw him
Oh,
in the
yeah.
bus. Like, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lazara wasn't too fond of
That's
the
fine.
fact that you made that comment.
So he wasn't
Simon
too fond of the fact that when I said that if No Regard had their full roster, that I think they would have won against.
Perhaps,
Waste
maybe. We don't know that answer to that question.
That's what he was
unless-
angry of.
But right now, your Simon Dagenet top 5 Div 2 quarterbacks is who? Going with number 5, please.
I don't have them ranked. I have the top 5, but I don't have like 1 to 5.
Okay, go
Well, now
ahead.
is the perfect time to rank them.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, so
Also, you knew he was going to ask you
Fair.
this.
no, he said top 5. Didn't say rank them.
Well,
All right,
top
so
five.
number 5. All right, I'll go with number 5. I'll go with Frank LeBeau.
Frank LeBeau.
Yeah.
Hold on here. Frank. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go. Okay, finish.
Number 5,
You-
Frank.
Oh, you said top 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Why are you shaming him for picking Frank LeBeau?
No, Div 2.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Frank LeBeau.
Yes.
So-
Absolutely. If
carry
not
on.
higher.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would say higher.
So I'd
It
say
also
Frank
doesn't
LeBeau is
matter.
5, Corey Pecker is 4, John Mayer as 3, Dan as 2, Marco is 1.
Where does
man,
Vinny
he's not
fall
good.
into that?
6, 7.
Oh, man.
Not in the top 5.
Dan Lazaro will not be happy with this.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you why.
Number 2
Yeah.
behind Marco
yeah.
Masciotto, who plays in Div 1. Okay, sure.
But here's also Dan Lazaro should be in Div 1, but
But he
the
didn't,
reason-
so you know.
The reason I agree with Marco being a shade better than Dan, I think Dan has better like
Mechanics.
physical tools
Yeah.
and better mechanics. The thing is, the reason we even brought this up was you said that Dan Lazara was upset, right?
Yep.
He wasn't happy.
So-
He was too
but
fond.
that's the thing.
Yeah, he wasn't fond.
Dan
about it.
gets upset. Dan is what Marco was the first few times I saw him
Yes.
losing
He's
his
probably
mind.
going to text
Like,
me right now.
If he's no, but I'm serious. If Tacos can keep it chill, I think he'll improve. Like if he stays more even keel instead of being a hot-headed Italian.
He also
think
has a much better
I could
roster
say
than
that, by the
Clockwood
way.
is.
A more
Like, Waste Youth-
athletically gifted
Chill
roster,
tacos.
I would say. Sorry?
Chill tacos. That's
Still Tacos, man.
No, but like also the Waste Suit roster is better than the Clockwood roster.
Yes.
Quarterbacks aside.
Mhm.
And
Well,
in the
waste
play-
Utes laid to waste clockwork.
No, but in the playoffs, if the two teams go against each other, we all agree that Waste Suit has a better roster, but it's going to be a close game because Marco is a really good
Well,
quarterback.
hold on here. They played each other a month ago.
And it's not
they
the playoffs.
They looked old,
Okay, cool.
Clockwork. And I hope that it's not the case if they were to meet up again in the playoffs at
Cool.
some point.
We all know playoffs are
We hope that
different.
the case is that they're not old.
No, I hope it's
They
not
also
the
hope
case.
that that's the case.
I hope it's not the case that when they meet up in the playoffs, it's going to be the same result of them being outclassed by a younger, athletically gifted, faster team in
Yeah.
Waste U.
Cool.
So-
Didn't they just win like a Div 2 title like 2 seasons ago?
That's how they got old. 2
Yeah,
years ago,
but
man.
it wasn't that
happens.
long
It's
ago.
progression here. You see younger guys get into the upper divisions and they're running circles around these older vets. Isn't that right with POP, Peeze?
Yeah. I mean, again, yes, fine.
Let's not dive into that because they're not listening, so it's pointless.
Yeah.
Okay, we look at seeds 4 through 6. Clockwork, You Can't Stay With Us, BYOB.
Yep.
So you don't put Vinny Galano in your again?
In my top 5?
These top 5s.
Well, you heard my top 5. Do you rank him above any of these guys? Above LeBeau, above
Maybe a touch over
Maru, above
LeBeau.
Marco, Dan, and Corey?
a touch over LeBeau, maybe.
Yeah, I think
just because
so.
again, just because of the way he plays is less traditional than LeBeau. It's hard to argue with.
Frank LeBeau also doesn't have the best roster around him.
Okay, that's cool.
Vinny has a much better surrounding cast.
Devil's advocate then, if you put Frank LeBeau with #NR or Waste You, what does he do? Is he going to put up bigger numbers or is he going to
Switch.
I think it's about the same.
No,
Like,
switch Vinny
also-
and Vinny Golano and Frank LeBeau. Put Vinny on Glads and Frank LeBeau on WPO. Frank
And-
LeBeau's going to have a monster season. Where Vinny he won't struggle because he's smart enough to use guys underneath, but he won't be as successful as he is right now.
I think you have a case of Jim Collateraitis that it's just a familiar name.
Frank LeBeau?
Yeah.
He's also he's also in the running for QB of the year because his stats
That's
are crazy.
Yeah. Dude, he's amazing. Again,
He's very good.
the worst part about these top 5 lists is people then interpret it as, oh, you think I suck. Nope. I don't think it makes a difference if you're
It's fair.
like we're
So
talking
we'll
about
do a
the
top
best of
7
them.
list,
If
right?
it's a case of a familiar, we're in Div 1. We're talking about Div 2 right now.
Div
like,
2, yeah.
how are there not familiar names in Div 2?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like a guy like Vinny, let's say, doesn't necessarily get the recognition because he's a new name at quarterback. His style is not what we tend to think of as prototypical, but yet he's done nothing since he started playing quarterback but put up monster numbers.
I don't disagree.
And again, I'm not saying Frank LeBeau sucks, by the way. I'm saying it doesn't really matter. And if he's 5 or 6,
But,
you know what I mean? Like,
and that's why I asked earlier to qualify, like, when Simo listed his top 5, like, where he put Vinny on that list. Or maybe
6, 7, yeah.
I was giving him the
Yeah,
benefit
oh,
of the
I
doubt.
mean-
So
yeah,
when
you hear the
you just
question,
weren't
sorry.
listening. Don't
I
worry.
was researching something else.
I actually gave him the benefit of the doubt and asked, where do you put Vinny? Just in case he forgot Vinny in his top
I did
5.
not. I just think
I
that
assumed you
the other
forgot,
5
to
are
be fair.
better.
I go around the room here. If you have 5 plays left in a playoff game, who do you trust more, Frank LeBeau or Vinny Galano?
Vinny Galano.
Small.
5 plays left, Vinny.
In playoffs. Vinny?
Vinny Galano.
GM.
Vinny.
Eagle.
Yeah.
But yet you still have Frank LeBeau above Vinny
Correct.
Galano.
Because he won't get into that situation.
But
So you
but hold on here.
Huh?
But hold on here.
contend.
But
No, what I'm saying is that
No, I
he
know.
won't put himself in a situation where it's 31 to 31, 5 plays left, I have to score. It's going to be 40.
But doesn't that add to the credence that if you're able to, with 5 plays left, you're down by 5, can lead your team on a march down the field for the game-winning touchdown? Doesn't that
So-
add to the
So
credibility?
So let's say
won't be
this
able
is
to do
Madden Ultimate Team.
Yes.
Like Frank LeBeau as a quarterback is a 91 and Vinny's an 88, but he has that like clutch player. Yes, checked off. Vinny does.
So, but I mean,
could see- I
that
could see that.
all gets to how pointless the discussion is because it doesn't ultimately matter because they're good.
But Glads just added.
Like if you Jim, you're building a team. You have a
Yeah.
choice between Frank LeBeau or Vinny Galano. Your team will be in good shape, right?
Yes, either way.
So there we go.
But just to sort of give like a historic counterpoint to Mo's argument,
Collateraitis.
exactly. The Div 2 finals where Frank LeBeau marched down to tie the game, and then on the convert threw it right to Pat Jerome.
Terror
where
Squad,
got
was
brought
it?
Back. Yeah, Terror Squad against
Yeah.
Scott
Where
Hill.
Alex Lever was
So-
crying for like an hour and a half
so
behind
just,
us.
there's that point. You're down. Who do you pick, Frank LeBeau or Vinny? We're going to pick Vinny because history has sided on the side of Vinny and not on Frank.
That was also a long time ago.
Not really.
Wow.
Was that 4 years?
4 years ago? 3? It's max 4 years
Jesus.
ago.
4 years.
As someone who's aging rapidly, 4 years is
So-
an eternity.
So, but I think the addition of Paul Lapierre to the Glads roster is probably one of the best additions in Division 2 this
Because it
season.
gives them height.
Yes. Well, yes. It gives them
But
that.
he's played with him for a while though now. A couple
Yeah,
of
but
seasons.
like on this team, on one side you have Alexander Peuse, on the other side you have Paul Lapierre. It's tough to defend in Division 2, man. And Frank is a very good quarterback. I think it really puts them up like over the top, and Glass just became a really good contender in Division 2, where let's say 3 weeks ago they were not.
Okay, for the number 4 seed right now, you have Clockwork, You Can't Stay With Us, BYOB. They're all at 5 wins. I believe You Can't Stay With Us have 9 games played
Yes.
for. 4th spot will result in a bye, right, for the top 4 seeds in Division 2. Who needs this bye?
Nobody needs a bye.
Yeah, the buys are the worst.
Why not? Look at Clockwork. They're stumbling in.
You don't need the bye. They'll be fine.
What about Clockwork, though? They've stumbled
So,
in.
does anyone have any injuries that
Well,
are notable?
Of
Yeah.
course
Are you
that's
like
not known, right?
like have a sore hamstring and you need like 2 weeks off before you could be 100%?
I'd say like okay, so like Vince Nardone, for example, we talked about in the Division 3 podcast how he's been hurt. So like maybe you can't sit with us to make sure he's 100%.
Fair.
Could use a bye. You know, maybe like.
That's what I'm saying, right?
No,
Like, yeah,
what
it-
you're
to
saying-
me, the only thing that the only place where it matters is in case of injury. I don't think anybody wants a bye.
No, what Mo was saying is he believes that buys are like in the NFL where you get more time to game plan and film. And
No,
you
it's
get,
not that
like,
though.
extra
Look at the
preps.
injuries that each team has incurred though, right? Is Marco Masiocha healthy enough? He hasn't had a good season, right?
I don't- I don't
Vince
think-
Or
Nardone.
even STL won't get the bye, but like with TLJ not being 100%. You know, like that, those
It
are teams that
benefits.
would benefit
Yeah,
from bye,
it's-
but because of their injuries, are probably not in a spot where they can get the bye. So
Well,
it
you
doesn't
can sit
help.
with us maybe, but the fact that they play 9 games, I don't think they'll be able to reach the 4th seed. But I don't think it's gonna matter, man.
So, would you say BYB is the most vulnerable, if not weaker, team out of the 3 that could lose?
I think they're the more volatile team. If they put up, the thing is, they have the worst points against in division, but they also put up a lot of points. So in the playoffs, it's going to come down to whether their defense shows up or not, and can they allow less than 40 points.
Div 1, DK, they're kind of sneaking up the ladder here. Can they somehow jump over?
No,
Finest will be the 1 seed, I think we have confirmed, right? Flag,
Mhm.
Masak, and D-Boys,
Yeah,
can they somehow
it's-
get into there or no?
unless Finest loses, but
They got the Braves and Finest send off to your DKs.
unless Finest loses a game, they got the head against pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
So they'll remain the 1st seed. DK just got I wouldn't say lucky, but they got a win against Flying Marsac without Alexander Puce. They lost.
So that's not lucky. They should beat them.
No, but what I'm saying, like, they get lucky because they got the free win in some way.
Mhm.
So it propels them a little bit higher in the seeding. But again, it doesn't matter in Div 1 because once you make the playoffs, you got to play whoever's in front of you. As long
Well,
as it's not
so
the finest in
in-
round 1.
In the cap era of FPF, I find the seeding hardly matters because from top to bottom, all the teams are pretty much good. Like I mean, Montreal's Finest Monstars, for example, or Got Skills. Like if it's one of those teams, like you know, those aren't easy wins.
Because if you don't play finest, let's say you're the 8th seed, you play Montreal's finest week 1. Well, first round of the playoffs. But if you want to win the championship, you do
You'd rather
know
not.
you're gonna have to beat Montreal's finest
Yeah.
at
One way or
some
another,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
So does it matter if you play them the first round or the last round? You're gonna have to play them regardless.
you look at it now,
path will likely go
Monstars.
through them. Yeah.
Yes.
Monsters are in the 6th hole, and they would be locked up with Flag Sack in the first round game, which could easily be a Div 1 final.
But that's what I'm saying. Like these games, man. Like they can go anyway.
So
Yeah.
why
Like,
the struggles for Monstars though? They're 1-2-1 in the last 4 games. They almost lost the Rainmakers. Had to get a Jordan
now,
McLaren.
Are we seriously criticizing a team in their first season in Div 1 winning 4 games?
But they
I'm
played
not
Div 8
criticizing.
though. They've played.
Div 8 is not
Div
the
8 is not
same.
Div 1.
But it doesn't matter. They played the finals. They played the D boys in different names, right? So,
So
why?
they
why?
beat finest.
But they supposedly improved their team with Jordan McLaren. No, I mean they weakened the D boys team to bring on a superstar.
Yes, they improved their team with McLaren and Anthony Van Ham.
And the rest,
Yes.
Theo Bekels is a great defender.
Yes.
Van Dram's a very good player. They weakened when he was playing in the
He was
hard
playing for
division.
Get Skills.
Got skills,
last winter.
exactly. So shouldn't they be better than what they are? And
They
this-
are.
This, but this
They
is
are
after
better.
the finest win though, and they're 1-2-1. So what has
Okay,
happened?
so whatever, it doesn't matter. Again, if it's just a matter of Monstars show up in Division 1, won their first few games, beat the finest, which was probably the one team that they circled on the calendar saying we want to beat the finest. And then from that point on, they said, you know what, I think they were 3-1 at that point. Or 3-1-1, whatever.
yeah.
At that point, they said, we're locked into the playoffs. We're cruising till week 12. And maybe that's it. They're cruising till week 12. They're trying some things out because it doesn't matter because they're locked in the playoffs. And when week 12 kicks in, then we'll see if they actually play better or if they're kind of in a slump and whatnot. But until then, same way as we've mentioned before over and over, D-boys tend to say, oh, we're 0-2. It doesn't matter. We'll make the playoffs. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Monstars, I feel it's the same thing. We made the playoffs already. Doesn't matter. We'll see you guys in week 12.
Are you confident now about D-boys, or is it kind of wavering with how they've, again, slow start, but the injuries, not a dominant year for Marco Masiotra in that offense?
I'm confident with D-boys. In my opinion, they're the third best team in Div 1 right now.
Third least amount of points with teams within the playoff spots right now.
Yeah.
But they have the best defense by a long shot.
They have a very good defense, but you also DK that has only given up 181 points. So we're looking at points against.
So the thing is that they came into the season again without Jordan McLaren, right?
Yep.
Then Theo J has not been 100%,
Yep.
Nope.
right? And he missed the game.
Yep.
So I think we'll see a better offensive showing for D-Boys in the playoffs.
Agreed.
But I think the loss of Jordan McLaren will ultimately hurt them. Like,
The-
they haven't truly
Can-
replaced them.
Can they actually? The one thing is, they need to beat the finest. Can they beat the finest? Do they have the roster to beat the finest? I don't think so. And on the flip side, now there's Flagmore Sack, who's have a fantastic season.
And look,
do they have the roster?
Sunday,
to beat
I was
Flagmore
there
Sack?
for that game for the Finest and D-Boys. I know we're going backwards here, but it just felt like the D-Boys were just 2 steps behind the Finest and everything.
So now you play them in the playoffs, and we know the playoffs is different mentality in Div 1. I still don't really see it.
Can the D-Boys turn it on, though, when they play the Finest in the
But
playoffs?
finest are also going to turn it on.
That's why. Can they steal a possession or two to convert in points? for
I'm
them
not
to
saying
get
it's
the hammer?
impossible. I think any team in Div 1 could beat Montreal's finest this season, including Top Guns.
And Maniacs.
I think there was a when D-Boys won the championship. At that point, Finest were aging. D-Boys were at their peak in terms of their
That was
roster.
in Div 8.
Div
It was
8.
in Div
Still,
Spring.
so
And
yeah.
it took what I think the last play of the game for them.
Yep,
to
it was
beat
a
them,
very
right?
close
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
But they've
But-
also lost in close games.
But the
too.
thing is that I think at this point, the Finest have tweaked the roster where D-Boys have been unable to, in a way that's
to improve.
I
it.
agree.
and I don't want to sell Quade Johnson short. He's amazing. It's like we're talking about Jordan McLaren being a guy who was borderline Hall of Fame
They're-
in voting
And
this year.
I
and
think I
the guy's-
wanted to avoid throwing his side when he was
yeah,
looking for
the
the
guy
D-Boys.
who's locked down on his
But
side.
they're also asking Quade Johnson to do a lot more than what finance are asking Antoine Dansro to do, right?
Yeah.
If Quade was a one-side, do this kind of guy,
Mhm.
he will probably excel more. But they're asking him to replace a two-way
Freak.
monster freak.
Yeah, and even
Which
like
is-
for example, like they brought in Chris Miard, right?
Yep.
And Chris Miard's role is well defined, and he can ease his way into Div 1.
He's
But
the
again,
best pass rusher right now in the
Yeah,
FPF.
and
And-
the
No
thing
question.
is,
And he's a
like
deep threat too.
Yeah.
he's filling his role, and he's doing
You got
it.
exposed by Phil Cutler, though.
We didn't see it.
Yeah, I
we didn't
was
see
there.
it, so I'm going off the belief what I saw.
No, but I agree with what Peeze is saying. Is Chris Millar was brought in with a specific role. This is what you do, and this is what you're gonna do for us, and the rest you don't have to bother about it.
Yeah.
You run hooks and 40 bombs, and you're rushing, and that's about it. You can run other stuff; it doesn't matter because you know you're not getting targeted. On the flip side, when Quade Johnson's playing, he needs to do everything,
He needs to be Jordan McLaren.
which is
he's not. He's not.
which
that
is-
guy.
Isn't
I know. I mean, he
That's
may
not a
be.
knock- yes.
If after
He's
playing
young.
Division 1 a couple seasons.
that's not a knock on him or anybody
No.
else. It's just
He's
if-
young right
yeah,
now.
like again, it's one of those things where when we're saying you're not one of the current best players in FPF,
yeah.
we're not saying you're terrible. We're
No.
just saying
He's young
It's
right
not
now.
there yet.
I
If
think
when
he-
he's 25, 26, he'll be a dominant player.
You would have better stats and a better season if you would need to do a little bit less. Have like a more defined role.
It's now time for.
Games of the week.
All right, here we go.
Yay.
Let's go with Monstars D-Boys.
It's a good game coming up.
That's a very good game.
I'm gonna go Monstars.
monsters for me.
Nah, D-Boys. Give me D-Boys.
Brave against DK.
That could be like a 4. Well, it's a 4-5 matchup. It comes out to the coin
Yeah.
toss. It ends up
But
being
that could also be a playoff preview.
Yeah. Give me Braves.
Is Rajdeep Banadikir back? Is he playing?
Why are you looking at me like I know these answers?
You're
Well,
assuming
I'm
you look at
asking
him.
the room basically.
Okay.
Mokan, do you know?
Not that I know of. I
You
don't
don't
know the update yet.
Give me Braves.
Give me DK. I assume Rushdie won't miss more than the game.
He's been missing 2 now.
Oh, that's 2. Oh, he
Back
won't
to
miss
back.
3. That's crazy talk. When's the last time he missed 3? Statistically,
Top Guns Rainmakers.
Top Guns, Rainmakers.
So the situation is if Top Gun loses this game to Rainmakers, this could Maniacs could just win a game and beat them and
Yeah,
steal the
it's so
playoff
weird.
spot. It's ridiculous because
Yeah.
right now they're only in because they have the same record as Maniacs and they have the tie over them,
Mhm.
the tiebreaker over them. So I feel like this is the one game that could bite them in the ass, and Rainmakers beat Top Guns this week, and now Top Guns are kind of trailing, and they hope Maniacs loses.
Next
So-
week, Top Guns have Monstars, and Maniacs 2.0 has got skills.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna pick Rainmakers
just to make it interesting.
just because it's crazy.
Yeah,
Like it
give,
could
me, give, me,
happen.
give me brain makers.
Rainmakers.
Brainmakers.
And moving on to Div 2.
Brain?
Smart guys.
Hashtag NR against WePO.
I'll go with PO.
No,
No,
hashtag.
hashtag NR writes the ship.
Wolverines Terror Squad.
That's a elimination game for Wolverines. Give me Terror Squad.
They're already up.
I know.
Terror Squad.
Terror Squad as well.
And CLR Forces, You Can't Sit With Us.
That's a big game for playoff positioning here. You can't sit with us.
Go ahead.
You can't sit with us.
CLR.
I want to give
CLR,
myself CLR.
CLR forces.
Because
I just think they're gonna put up more points. I don't see You Can Sit With Us putting up like 40 points on CLR, and I could see Fred Dupuis having one of those Bane Week games. Like dropping 7 touchdowns, and you guys You Can Sit With Us. Well, I don't know what happened. Terry Tam is gonna be they play well. What do you want me to say?
Match
He's dropping CLR forces all over the place.
I think that says it all.
Good night, everyone.
I think Wakan's tired.
I think he wants to go home.
Yeah.
I don't think he likes this anymore.
No.
Are you gonna see? Are you seeing Wakan this weekend?
No. But so like, is that CLR Forces joke ever gonna die, or is it just gonna always be poop?
You should put a T-shirt on it.
What?
Put it on a T-shirt.
Put a T-shirt?
Fred's face. And then
Dropping a CLR?
Dropping CLRs.
Ben we. Dropping a CLR? Question mark? Ben we.